Now here is a pair of lads who love a good scrap. Honestly, I swear I've cast Bruce Campbell versus Choko Bambus like 5 or 6 times on my channel already. Anyway, Choco's going to be playing his classic Eldar, and Bruce is going to be playing his Plague Champion. He does play Plague Champion quite a bit. I know he's mostly known for Eldar, a little bit of Space Marines, but actually, Plague Champion, I'm pretty sure, is his secondary main after the Eldar. So we'll see how this goes. Plague Champion notorious actually for being the best 1v1 hero of Chaos, believe it or not. Kind of weird given, you know, turrets, slow movement speed, you'd think he's all about 3v3. Actually, he's amazing in 3v3, but no, in 1v1 he's really good as well. I would say though, versus Eldar specifically, generally I'd rather have a Chaos Sorcerer, but we'll see how this turns out. The thing with the Plague Champion in this matchup is, he can heal off the chip damage from the Rangers very effectively. His Mucus Discharge accessory, his Nurgle Worship, and the damage over time from his Bolter, very good when it comes to those deep melee scraps between Aspiring Champion Heretics or Raptors versus the Banshees. You commit to them as the Eldar, and you might win the fight, but you're so low on HP, the damage over time just rips you up. It's pretty tricky, but in the early game, the Farseer is going to be pretty punishing here. Let's have a look at how the Banshees do, given that the PC is shooting his damage over time into the Banshees whilst this fight is ongoing. You see, 4 models lost on the Heretics, and oh my god, nearly a wipe on the Banshees. The damage over time is going to kill that rear one. Did he? Okay, the Plague Champion didn't hit this front model, so it's going to get away, but that was super close. 4 Banshee models down. So that's 140 requisition versus the... wow, 48 requisition here. Yeah, so we know who that favoured, right? This, I think, is going to be a Patreon episode, actually. I just remember that now. I don't know why I felt like announcing that, but... Hello, patrons! How you doing? Anyway, I like to give you guys the juice. I like to give you the nice high-level games, so... Here we go. Suppose I can change my analysis a little bit when I'm speaking to the patrons, that's the thing. Something I've not really done too much yet, but I figure that you patrons are a little bit more experienced with the game, so I don't need to go through some of the basic things as much. Let's see. I mean, map control, not too favoured for Choko so far. We are going to see fast Raptors. Raptors synergize best with... Well, they're okay with the Sorcerer, but I think they're actually better with the Plague Champion. As I say, when you're trying to fight the Raptors in melee and you've got the DPS, or that damage over time from the Champion, it makes it really easy to get wipes. But you also bleed a lot less with the Plague Champion than the Chaos Sorcerer, because the Chaos Sorcerer can get wipes with his own Teleporting Armor and Flame Sword, putting the Coruscating Flame on the Raptors and stuff, but you just bleed a lot. I do like Mucus Discharge. Supports the ticks really well against the Shees as well as the Raptors. But wow, check this out. The VP situation. 500 VPs for Choko, already under 380 for Bruce. That's not great. I was going to say, man, I feel like this PC has been shooting the Farseer for ages, and he has, but she's got the Armor of Fortune. Oh, this is a bad engagement though for the Eldar. Ooh, nice grenade combo there with the washout. I didn't even see these cheeky Guardians throwing their grenade. Good stuff. Kills 7 of the Heretic models there. They have to get out, but of course, the Banshees there were shut down, a little bit too fragile, and the Raptors getting onto the Guardians. Not a nice time for the Guardians, so they get out. Only lost 1 model, so that's pretty good. Pretty good for Choko. Farseer just causing a bit of harassment here. I mean, this works for Choko because he has denied the VP to Bruce. So this whole time he's been bleeding. Even Bruce now decapping the natural, he's still frigging bleeding. He needs to fully cap Choko's natural. The Plague Champion has just had enough. He's just going to go cap the mid instead. You see the value of that HP regen. So this cast, it's going to be coming out after the release of 2.9.8.2. And we've seen a very small nerf to the Armor of Fortune, down from 3 HP per second to 2.5. I wasn't necessarily against it, but, you know, testing it It's still 2.5 HP per second, it's still great, but you can really see the reasons why people felt like that armor needed a nerf. I don't feel like it does because the Farseer has very little max HP to start with and it only gives plus 150 max HP, which compared to other tanky melee armors is a lot lower. I think spiky armor only has 1.5 HP regen, but it gives 150 max HP. And then Artificer armor is 2 HP regen, but it gives plus 200 max HP. So, you know, something like that. Like, there is a trade-off. Anyway, we see more nice nades coming out here. A Shuriken weapon team is going to be coming out, no Rangers. I mean, it makes sense, really. Like I say, the Rangers, I feel, are pretty irrelevant against PC. You can just shrug off the damage with the Worship and Mucus Discharge and stuff. Kind of baits your enemy, well, not really baits, but kind of enables them to get the Mucus Discharge, which hard counters your Rangers. Man, the VP pressure's pretty real for Bruce here. It's going to bite him in the arse this, because this is quite a big map. Dealing with the webway gates later on could be very frustrating. What's he doing here? I think he might be going all in on the tier 1 here, trying to get the full bash of the power, but this is going to be hard. We've got all the Eldar forces except the Farseer, who's going to go to the mid. Yeah, you're pushing head on into a Shuriken, which is not ideal. Especially when your PC and your CSM are so fragile. Not fragile, but you know what I mean, weak. They're not low H, they're not full HP. God, I can't speak at the moment. Okay, nice little flank from the Guardians, shooting away at the Heretics, nice vulnerable target for them. Of course, Heretics are only light infantry, so much better to shoot them than the CSM or the Raptors, which are heavy infantry. Bruce is just doing an unholy blob. Look at this is crazy. Great play from Choko, to be honest. He knows he doesn't want to engage these ridiculously tanky Nurgle troops, so he pulls out, fleets away his Guardians. The Banshees are on the side. He's got the Shuriken behind the Guardians, so if the Raptors do a premature jump, they're just going to regret it because they're going to be in Shuriken distance. And he backs away with the Farseer, who's caught this side of the map. So his map control is great right now. I don't know what Bruce is doing. There's no reason to be blobbing like this. This is kind of ridiculous. Okay, a little bit of a miss micro here. Could do with getting the Guardians onto the Heretics in the mid. Put a little bit of pressure on them. Choco's slightly ahead in tech. Not that much though. Bruce has a lot of power somehow. Why does Bruce have so much power? Because he's got a power node, so he's got an extra 10 power income compared to Choko. Bruce obviously no upgrades on CSM. He did get Mucus Discharge. So what's this? We're paying 15, so that's 30, and then 50, and then how much is Armor Fortune these days? Is it 25 or 30? So you're looking at like 75, 80, right? Versus, what's this, 25? 75. Yeah, so the power expenditure for Bruce is actually way higher. It's like 115 or something. Oh no, I'm not accounting for the Shuriken as well. But it's very similar power expenditure. Kind of surprised that Bruce is doing so well in terms of power. I imagine Bruce must have got his gens up earlier than Choko, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, he's doing quite well. Perhaps he's just bled a lot less. Ah, the bait worked for Choko there. Look at that. He baited the Raptors in on with his double Guardians blobbing on one another, but had the Shuriken hidden from the sight of Bruce in the back. Instantly forces the Raptors off. And the other thing with that play, if Bruce didn't recognize and retreat instantly, the Raptors would be suppressed and then they'd just be vulnerable to eating grenades. Because you obviously can't dodge grenades if you're suppressed. Autark is going to be the play for Choko. It's a very unique choice, I like it actually. I can see why he's doing it. So typically, you know, you get tier 2 first, you want combat units, blah blah blah, but the thing is, Choko is absolutely dominating in terms of the VP game at the moment. And I think he really wants to double down on that. He doesn't need to take these big army versus army fights against the Nurgle troops. He can just rat around, run away from them, and just win on VPs. And of course the Autark with her extremely high speed and her jump. Very, very good option for that. Executioner Spear is on the way for her. She does pretty shitty damage by default, to be fair, but she's pretty competent with that Executioner Spear. 64 power melee DPS. So, better than your tier 1 melee weapons on your typical tanky melee hero. We'll see her rip apart those CSM fairly easily in spite of their melee resist. Her special attacks aren't great. Don't really do that much damage. I think this guy should die in another hit. Oh, she doesn't go for it. I suppose there is that big scary Raptor aspiring champion in retreat, which is never ideal. Probably want to see an upgrade on the Farseer. I think if he waits to see the Chaos Dreadnought, a Singing Spear on the Farseer could be very good. Singing Spear plus Armour of Fortune is a pretty classic combo. And then you can go for the Spirit Stones, because the Singing Spear doesn't use energy, unlike the Doombringer or the Levitation Field. And then, you know, you can heal your Autarky Banshees, your Farseer. Of course, with the Wraithlord as well, this could be a pretty good engagement, actually. I mean, the Eldar melee blob here is getting pretty strong. Again, especially if Farseer gets the Singing Spear. That will put a lot of pressure on these Banshees. They won't want to be running in like this. The other thing to note is the aspect of fleetness. So the Exarch here for the Banshees has dual mirror swords. So she does power melee damage, which will be better than the heavy melee Exarch against the Raptors, but of course puts no pressure onto the Dreadnought, which is a problem. Autarch jump comes in a little bit late. Lazy grenade throws there from the Guardians. I don't like that. Do we have a Bright Lance on the way? Where is the Guardian weapons team? The Guardian's weapons team is in base. It should really be upgrading to a Bright Lance right now, positioning itself here such that the Dreadnought, when it's running away, gets wrecked. And honestly, that probably would be a dead Dreadnought had Choko done that, and that probably would be the game. But he hasn't. The Bright Lance is idle in base. He's just relying on the Bright Lance on the Wraithlord. And I don't think it's going to be enough, to be honest. I think the Chaos Dreadnought should be able to kite away. We've got a Plague Fist Plague Champion. But that alone isn't going to do much to a Wraithlord. You need ranged AV. The Wraithlord's too tanky. I mean, obviously the autocannon on the Dreadnought does a little bit of damage, but again, that relies kind of on the splash to do significant damage. Oh, okay. He's going for Mark of Tzeentch. I mean, you wanted ranged AV. The ranged AV damage coming out of this thing is going to be very, very good. The problem with this upgrade is that the missiles miss infantry, and you lose the melee resist. So if the Wraithlord gets into melee with this Chaos Dreadnought, he will fuck it up hard. But of course, the Plague Champion can guard it. And the Raptor with his Blood Maul can protect it as well. Yeah, look at this. Race that wins by avoiding fights all game. Well, come on, man. You're playing Plague Champion and you're running around with your entire army in a blob in a 1v1. Eldar can't fight that head on. That'd be suicide. So Choko's doing the right job here. Running away. Just chipping away at his opponent. It's good. I like the playstyle. Looks like we see a Farsight global being used, because there's no way that the Farsight can see all the way over there and guide on the Guardian weapon team to increase its range. Getting some good chip on the Chaos Dreadnought. Bruce is going to opt for a turret in the mid. Now I wonder if that's going to be a las cannon turret. I bet it is, you know. I bet he wants to get a las cannon turret and snipe that Wraithlord. The thing is, you could do the same trick and you could guide the Bright Lance again and just wipe the turret. Because unlike the Dreadnought, the turret can't run away. So I find that turret a bit questionable, but we'll see. Autarch's putting in some great work here. Nice retreat time in there. Raptors just jumped on her and tried to use their Demonic Fury to send her flying up in that direction and probably kill her in retreat. But Choko, seeing it come in, retreated just in time before he could get affected by the knockback. CSM finally getting their aspiring champion. So a nice versatile upgrade in this matchup. The barrage comes in here from the Dreadnought, but I don't really understand why. It doesn't do much damage at all. It mostly, well, just use it for the suppression basically. But what's the point suppressing them when there's no fight here, you know, they're not shooting anything, so it feels like a waste. Raptors and Banshees actually are pretty even. The Banshees will win Certainly when they're higher level like they are here because they get specials. But they win in general if the Raptors don't Demonic Fury the Exarch away. And if the Raptors jump on the Banshees to suppress them and then get Demonic Fury in the Exarch, then the Raptors win that actually quite handily. So given that the CSM were nearby, Choko makes the wise decision to get out of there. Here we go, a big fight in the mid. Now this might be an opportunity for a Noxious Cloud or a touch of Nurgle. Let's see if we get either. We've got the Levitation Blade, the Gravity Blade with its Levitation Field on the Farseer. Wraithlord was actually very slow to commit here to the fight, but nonetheless the Raptors are getting ripped to pieces. Now we see the Plague Champion has got into melee. Does he have his Armour of Pestilence? He doesn't. He has the Fetid Armour, which I assume he used there. Or did he just get it? I don't know what's going on. Why has he not already used it? This is a crazy engagement. We do see Touch of Nurgle. One of the Guardians is wiped. Choco's priorities are on dealing with the Wraithlord and getting him out of there. Another Touch of Nurgle Doomblast could do some crazy damage. And actually the Wraithlord does manage to get away. But it is low on HP. That's one of the Guardians going down as well, so it's going to take some time to repair that Wraithlord. Mortac's going to just run to the other side of the map, start putting some VP pressure on. Honestly, might even be a good time to get some Chosen Plague Marines and just keep them around this natural VP so this Farseer and Mortac can't keep gapping. Because I must admit, they've been very annoying to deal with. You know, having to send CSM and Raptors over there is not ideal, and in fact the Raptors did get wiped out in that engagement. I wonder why Bruce went for Fetid Armour. I assume that is a mistake. It only increases his HP by 150, whereas the other armour is like 600 HP buff or something huge, and gives him immunity to knockback at the cost of a small amount of reduced speed. Oh, CSM not in a good spot here. Guided Banshees come out with a speed buff from the gate of the Farseer. Yeah, not great, especially when they've got aspect of fleetness. There you go, now they're going to use fleetness as well. Fleet of foot. Is that going to be a wipe? Holy shit, they come so close. One more hit and that would have been a wipe. And here we go, you're talking about VP games? Well, the Webway gates are coming up now. Eldar are very good at playing that VP game. Dreadnought should just shoot the Webway gates, the rockets will kill it way faster than his melee, but not a big deal. And it looks like he did all the damage to the Webway gate, so you got a really good chunk of XP there, which is nice for the Dreadnought. It needs all the HP and damage it can get to ensure that this Wraithlord falls. There could be a lot of damage right now onto the Dreadnought. I mean, this seems like a little bit over the top of a response to try and deal with the Dreadnought. But then again, Fire Dragons are good against all targets. So is the Wraithlord, so I guess it's fine. The Heavy Bolter Havoc is an interesting one. I mean, it's currently countering the Guardians and the Farseer. I mean, it soft counters the Fire Dragons. I believe they've got extra courage so they can sort of run around the edges, but it's just going to get jumped by the Autarch, you would think. And then as soon as the Wraithlord charges into the Dreadnought, it's basically a done deal for Bruce. The DPS that the Plague Champion would put onto the Wraithlord is negligible compared to the amount of damage that the Fire Dragons could put onto the Dreadnought. Yeah, I find this weird. I don't really understand Bruce's composition here. He needs something else. He needs Plague Marines, I think. Here we go, we've got the engagement. They were infiltrated by the gate. Where is the follow-up, Choko? Choko is not following up. What is he doing? Banshees get just gangbanged by 20 heretics and a Plague Champion. Oh, that was weird. I don't know what Choko's doing there. He really committed the Banshees and the Autarch, but then he just didn't follow up with the rest of his army. Why didn't these guys move? At the very least, the Guardians could have ran across to get the VP decap a long time ago. And the Farseer is going to use her Grav Field, but she does it right in the face of CSM and a Heavy Bolter, so obviously she gets shot to death. Poor lass. And now Choco's gone for Spirit Stones and the Grav Blade, but the problem there is you can't use your Levitation Field and then use your Spirit Stones, because the energy cost is too high. You have to use your Spirit Stones first and then your Lev Blade, but that's annoying because you generally want to use your Levitation Field at the start of the fight and Spirit Stones later on. So this whole build, it's weird. I don't like it. I don't like it. Havoc's force off the Guardians. Oh, Bloodletter's probably helped with that. These Bloodletters are going to get wrecked by the Banshees and the Autarch. Such a powerful combo. Especially with the Autarch leaping into combat as well, just knocking over models, just setting them up to be killed by the Banshees. And then the Autarch leaps onto the Havoc. Beautiful. Oh man, I feel bad for Bruce here. Like, I would so rather be Choko in terms of the army. I just feel like Bruce must be bleeding like crazy, but in spite of it, you know, his economy isn't terrible. Choko can soon get another Wraithlord though, which would probably be the shout here. His VPs are getting very low. Only 129 for Bruce. I would definitely be getting another Wraithlord at this point, you know. What else is there to consider, right? You're not going to go tier 3, it's going to take too long, and what would you get in tier 3 that another Wraithlord can't really do? In theory now, that engagement where his Banshees and Autarch flanked the Chaos Blob, I really think Choko could have just pushed up and just forced off the whole army of Bruce. The Wraithlord just has to charge at the Zenith Shred. There's no other AV on the field right now. That's why I was suggesting Plague Marines. At least then you'd snare the Wraithlord so that you can have longer to shoot at it with a missile launcher. See, the DPS is great from the missile launcher, but like I say, as soon as the Wraithlord gets into melee, it really is going to dominate that dreadnought. Choko goes tier 3. I'd just get a Wraithlord, honestly. What's the point? There's only 129 VPs. Like, if he had 2 Wraithlords now, he could just charge this dreadnought. I mean, in all honesty, you can just charge the dreadnought anyway, because it can't stand there and shoot whilst the Bright Lance is in the back lines pressuring. You could guide it. But Fire Dragon's just around the corner. He's giving this Zenith Dreadnought way too much respect. Look, it does good damage at range, but honestly, this thing is more of a tank counter or a transport counter, because against walkers, you just walk up and tie it in melee and then kick the shit out of it. Well, let's see how this engagement goes. Do we have red for Touch and Nurgle? Just, we do. Finally getting Eternal War on the CSM. Wow, that's been some time. I just realised turret didn't last long, did it? Well, I can see why, when you're in this sort of deadlock situation here, that Choko would wish he had a Fire Prism, so that's what he's getting on the way. But do we have Fetid armor still on this PC? Yeah, we do. That is so weird. I think Bruce misclicked and he didn't realise, because he's not even using the ability. What is he doing? Why has he not used it? Anyway, Bloodletter's charge in, they're going to force off the Fire Dragons. The Wraithlord's running away again. The Wraithlord could have just tied up the Dreadnought and killed it. It does not need to be running away here. There's no other AV. The only other AV is the Plague Champion. The Wraithlord would kill him in like 3 swings. Choko is giving this thing way too much respect. Just melee it, Choko. Oh my god. You can kill it right now. Just melee it. What is he doing? He's giving this Dreadnought way too much respect. Honestly, this is crazy. So Fire Prism's here now too. The Zenith Dreadnought uses its barrage for some reason, I don't know why. Has he even realised that the Fire Prism is the problem? Oh my god, the Prism missed! What is it doing? No! Oh my god, this is turning into quite the sloppy game, what the fuck? Surely this thing has to die. The Bright Lance isn't even in range. It's shooting at the fucking Plague Champion. Oh my god, what is this? The Prism can't hit! What the fuck? Why is the Prism missing? Is it even aiming at the dreadnought? Okay, it finally hit. That was bizarre, but it was completely unnecessary. The fire dragons just killed the damn thing anyway. Look, that Zine Shred should have died 6 million years ago. I don't know why Choko didn't just melee it with a Wraith Lord. Prism actually can get direct hit there on the Chosen Plague Marines. Pops that guy like a fucking giant zit. Blood and pus everywhere. And it's actually a 2-to-1 cap in favour of Bruce right now. But the Farseer's on it. She's going to go cap that natural VP of Bruce. We've got the dispersed beam on the prism, but to be honest that doesn't really do any damage to these single entity guys that get healed up by Noble Worship. I mean, honestly, that was a decent spike of damage against the Bloodletters. These Bloodletters have been shit. I don't know why they were purchased, to be honest. CPM have come out and been a lot more effective immediately, and combination of CPM and the Touch of Nurgle level 3 ticks, this should be a winning situation for Bruce. And Choko is very slow to react. The damage over time might even lead to the Banshees wiping it. It does! The Banshees wipe what's going on in the main center fight. Bloodletters and the PC flinging some Fire Dragons around. Fire Dragons have not got their Dragon Armor upgrade, so they're getting knocked over quite a lot. I think this is going to be a Bruce victory. Can you believe it? I can't believe this. He should have lost this game in Tier 2. Big time. Maybe Choko's going to win on VPs, actually, coming on the side. Wait, he's got Seer Council. Oh my god, Choko's economy is insane. He's been pumping out units left, right and centre. Yeah, so he got the Seers, took them out of the gate, and finally made the Chosen Plague Marines decide, yeah, maybe we should leave. Farseer did cap this VP, so it's now a 2-to-1 cap in favour of Choko. And she's just going to be guarding that VP with her life. Nice decap from the Seers as well. Blood Crusher's going to have to be really careful. Prism and the Fire Dragons can nuke that bad boy down quick. But still dispersed beam for the Prism. Fire Dragons need to do something. They need to move into range whilst the Prism disrupts it, or at least heal in the base. Is the Blood Crusher... I was going to say, is the Blood Crusher going to come over and help out the Plague Champion? I don't know if the Plague Champion wins this fight because he's got that stupid fetid armor instead of the Armor of Pestilence. You see, you wouldn't be able to pick up and throw the Plague Champion like this if he had the Armor of Pestilence, but somehow that doesn't even disrupt the cap, which is kind of hilarious. I don't know how that just happened. But Autarch and Seer Council should be able to deal with all this melee. Yeah, then the Guardians run in from the rear and get the cap. Yep, Bruce is forced off. Bruce, he needs to act quick, he needs to get onto one of these VPs. There's nothing guarding the natural of Choko right now, but he's not moving. He's got his demons just sitting in the mid. I mean, he doesn't really have the resources. It's difficult to see what he could send over there because he knows there's a gate, and obviously you can't just send CSM there. Oh, I also forgot about the fucking Prism that sat there guarding it. This Blood Crusher is likely dead. It's got to keep the Fire Dragons tied up, but it's also in the Arc of a Bright Lance. So yeah, that is a dead BC. And that, I think, is the game. Tick's getting wrecked by the Seers. Seers can now turn around and force off the CSM. Or they can just go back and deal with the Bloodletters, let the Farseer kill the CSM. Man, Choko's playing this game very conservatively. Going to retreat the Seers there instead. I find this fetid armor hilarious. Bruce just completely misclicked. He must have been mad rusty when they played this game. He must have been crazy rusty. Farseer is going to get forced off here. So it could actually go to a 2-to-1 cap in favour of Bruce right now. I really don't think those Seers needed to retreat. I really don't think so. Man, these Webwood gates are proving brutal. Yeah, Seers didn't even get full opportunity to heal back to their full health. The fucking knockback, man, from the Seers is crazy. Touch a Nurgle. But the damage of Touch a Nurgle is not that good against Seer Council. They're just too tanky, 500 HP per model. It's kind of nuts, you know. Tactical Marines are under like 350 or something. It's got a badass. And that's at level 1. What's going on down here? We got some CSM and some Raptors over here. Looks like Bruce isn't even aware of the gate. Yeah, mistakes from Choko. He wasn't focusing on the CSM earlier, which he obviously should have been. Seer Council will now come out. Raptors are gonna just completely ignore the levitation field. It doesn't really matter though. These Seer Council and the Prism just cleaning up shop. Oh, Raptors yeet that Farseer. Not today, bitch. And more units coming out from Choko. How the hell is Bruce even in this game? He's got 4 units. Bloody hell. Bloodletter's getting wrecked by the Autark. Level 4 Autark, you love to see it. She's been amazing. See, why did she retreat there? Why didn't she just go over to the mid VP? Well, he's got some Guardians on it anyway, so I guess that's fair enough. Right Lance at this point, I don't really know what it's doing. It needs to just get out of there. Maybe cap some wreck or something. Wait, 7 VPs for Choko? What? Is he capping? Okay, he is capping down here. Oh, it looks like the Raptors fought to the death against the Farseer and lost. So he's only going to have 5 VPs left. Choko, man, he made this way harder than it needed to be. Bloody hell. I'm telling you. He is now just capping in front of the CPM, which... yeah, that is ridiculous. You don't need to do that, mate. Just hold the 2 cap and you'll be sorted. I love this comment from Bruce. I feel like that is how all Plague Champion players feel fighting Eldar. But come on, you're the big super tanky boys who win every head-on fight. Yeah, that's how it's going to be when you fight. You fight Eldar. Maybe fight Nids next time. Probably end up fighting a big range blob that runs away from you. Anyway, that is all. Thanks, guys. This is going to be the final Patreon episode, actually, for 2.8.1. Oh, fuck, man. I always forget what it is. Anyway, after this episode, we're on to the new patch. So if you have replay recommendations, then make sure you submit them in the Discord. Thanks for tuning in. It's your boy Torpid, signing out.